London, one of the world's greatest cities, has a history stretching back over 2 millennia. From its beginnings as a Roman trading post to its current status as a global financial and cultural powerhouse, the story of London is one of resilience, transformation, and enduring influence. This sweeping narrative traces the city's journey through time, exploring how wars, fires, plagues, empires, and revolutions have shaped London into the remarkable metropolis it is today. London's story begins with the Romans, who invaded Britain in 43 AD under Emperor Claudius. They established a settlement on the northern bank of the River Thames, known as Londinium. The location was strategic, a crossing point on the Thames and a junction for Roman roads. Londinium quickly became a bustling commercial center with a population of around 45,000 at its height. The city featured all the hallmarks of Roman civilization: a forum, basilica, amphitheater, public baths, and a bridge over the Thames. Its sturdy stone walls, some of which still stand today, were built to protect it from external threats. By the early 5th century, the Roman Empire began to collapse and Roman legions withdrew from Britain. Londinium fell into decline, and for a time, much of it was abandoned. Following the Romans, Anglo-Saxon tribes settled the area, and a new town, Londonwick, grew about a mile west of the old Roman site. This was a trading port and a modest town compared to Roman Londinium. However, the city was frequently attacked by Vikings from the late 8th century onwards. To protect the city, Alfred the Great, King of Wessex, moved the population back to the walled Roman city and re-established it as Londonburg in the 9th century. From this point, London began to regain importance as a defensive and economic center. By the 11th century, the city had grown in wealth and power, eventually becoming a key player in national politics. The Norman conquest in 1066 was a turning point for London. William the Conqueror quickly recognized its significance and built the Tower of London to assert control. This imposing fortress would become a symbol of royal authority and a royal prison for centuries. Medieval London grew steadily, with guilds, merchants, and craftspeople forming the backbone of the local economy. Westminster emerged as the seat of government, while the City of London remained a commercial hub. London Bridge, the only bridge across the Thames for centuries, linked both banks and facilitated trade. However, this era was also marked by catastrophe. The Black Death arrived in 1348, killing nearly half the population. Despite such horrors, London remained resilient, continuing to grow and assert itself as England's most important city. During the Tudor period, London's population surged, driven by commerce and royal patronage. The reign of Henry VIII and later Elizabeth I saw the construction of royal palaces, theaters like the Globe, and trading companies that connected London to the wider world. Religious upheaval, particularly the English Reformation, transformed the city's landscape. Many monasteries were dissolved, and their lands taken over by nobles and merchants. Under the Stuarts, London became even more significant. By the mid-1600s, it was one of the largest cities in Europe. However, the city faced 2 devastating events: the Great Plague of 1665, which killed around 100,000 people, and the Great Fire of London in 1666. The fire destroyed much of the old medieval city, including St. Paul's Cathedral and thousands of homes. But out of the ashes rose a new city, rebuilt under the visionary leadership of architects like Sir Christopher Wren, who designed the new St. Paul's Cathedral, a symbol of resilience and renewal. The 18th and early 19th centuries saw London become the heart of an expanding British Empire. Trade with colonies brought immense wealth, and the city's port became the busiest in the world. New neighborhoods like Mayfair, Bloomsbury, and Marylebone were developed to house the growing middle and upper classes. This was also a period of intellectual and cultural expansion. Institutions such as the British Museum, founded in 1753, the Royal Academy, and many theaters and concert halls reflected London's status as a center of enlightenment. However, the Industrial Revolution brought not just progress, but deep inequality. Factories, railroads, and massive migration swelled the population, but many lived in extreme poverty. Charles Dickens vividly described the darker side of London life in his novels. The reign of Queen Victoria marked the height of the British Empire and the transformation of London into a truly modern city. The population exploded to over 6 million by the century's end. Vast infrastructure projects, including the Underground, opened in 1863, sewer systems and railway terminals modernized the city. The Great Exhibition of 1851, held in the Crystal Palace, showcased London's global leadership in industry and culture. Yet, social divisions remained stark. While the West End gleamed with wealth, the East End suffered from overcrowding, crime, and disease. Political reforms gradually expanded voting rights, and new institutions like the Metropolitan Police brought more order to urban life. Despite hardships, London in the Victorian era laid the foundation for its global prominence. World War I and interwar years. London's role in World War I was largely administrative and symbolic. The city was the heart of wartime Britain, coordinating military and political strategy. After the war, London grappled with economic hardship, social change, and growing political activism. World War II, the Blitz. Londoners endured immense suffering during World War II, particularly during the Blitz, 1940–41, when the Luftwaffe bombed the city night after night. Thousands were killed, neighborhoods flattened, and landmarks damaged. Yet, the city's spirit, epitomized by Winston Churchill's speeches, never broke. Post-war rebuilding and immigration. After the war, London rebuilt, both physically and culturally. The Festival of Britain, 1951, symbolized renewal. The city welcomed immigrants from the Caribbean, South Asia, and Africa, transforming London into a multicultural hub. Social housing projects, new towns, and a focus on public welfare characterized the post-war period. The skyline began to change, with modernist architecture rising from the rubble. In the late 20th and early 21st centuries, London evolved into a leading global city. The financial sector, centered in the City of London and Canary Wharf, boomed. The city became a hub for media, fashion, technology, and higher education. Key moments included the Millennium Dome, now the O2 Arena, and London Eye, marking the turn of the century. The London 2012 Olympics, which revitalized East London and celebrated Britain on the global stage. Terrorist attacks in 2005, July 7th, which deeply affected the city, but were met with unity and defiance. Brexit, 2016, which introduced political uncertainty, as London largely voted to remain in the EU. London today is a city of contrasts. Centuries-old churches sit beside modern skyscrapers, and people from over 270 nationalities speak more than 300 languages. Its economy is powerful, yet inequality remains. Its heritage is preserved even as it embraces the future. The Tower of London, medieval fortress and symbol of royal authority. Westminster Abbey, coronation church and burial site of monarchs. St. Paul's Cathedral, a symbol of resilience after the Great Fire and the Blitz. The Houses of Parliament, the heart of British democracy. The British Museum, home to artifacts from across human history. Buckingham Palace, the monarch's residence and a focus of national life. The Shard and London Eye, modern icons reflecting innovation and change. The story of London is far from over. What makes this city extraordinary is not just its historical endurance, but its ability to adapt. From Roman roots to a megacity of the digital age, London has constantly reshaped itself while retaining a strong sense of identity. It is a city of storytellers, builders, immigrants, rebels, and visionaries. In every corner of London, from cobbled alleys to glass towers, you can see layers of history waiting to be discovered.